So probe lenses has always been so fascinating to me because in the commercial realm, we have seen these kind of shots everywhere, and in every commercial role, there must be a probe shot. They are very niche and very hard to master. This is why they are mostly reserved for specialty shots. But when I got my hands on this X-Tract series from DZOFilms, the probe lenses has always been evolving, from being a T14 only lenses to now being a T8, and right now they have a zoom version which is 18-28 on a T8. At this point, they are really making it so much usable for everyday shoots. In this video, I'll take you behind the scenes of this creative experiment, the challenges, the shots I didn't think they were possible, and how the limitations of a single lens could change my entire approach of storytelling. Plus, I'm so used at using standard primes, you don't really have the mindset to know what kind of reference shots you need to get from probe lenses. So I turned into different reference points and even went on to Artlist, which is the sponsor for this video. So Artlist now has this new AI video generator, VO3. So I used it almost like a storyboard tool, typing in prompts like camera sliding through, ceiling fans, a point of view from inside the faucet, inside my mouth, and it's a perfect way to visualize these crazy perspective ideas before committing to setting them up in real life. Of course, the AI make it look effortless, but turning those frames into practical shots is where the real challenge begins. Artlist has a full catalogue of voices, or I can even clone my own and all it takes is typing out my script. This is how my voice sounds like. And of course, my go-to platform for music and sound effects is Artlist. Every track is licensed, so I can use them across YouTube, Reels, or client projects without worrying about copyright. Artlist is my one-stop toolbox for this short film. So without further ado, we're gonna jump right into the BTS. I woke up at 6 AM in the morning. My first thing is to rig out my camera and my lens. So I use the Sony FX3 with the PL to E mount adapter. I attach it to the straight probe. So these lenses are fully manual. My main aim here is to pull focus while I'm on the shot. So what I came out here is this mini focus pulling system for myself. One good thing about this PD movie unit here is they can be powered by their proprietary battery, which is perfect because it's so light and there's no wires or cables running out from the focus motor, in which it will make the rig even bigger. And in order to focus myself in the shot, I have my iPad ready, wirelessly connect my Sony FX3 to the monitor and control app on my iPad, as well as clamping the focus control wheel on top of my iPad so that I could treat it as a wireless focus monitor. So I have all these three controls that I can do. I can record, adjust settings, and pull focus, which is the best mini setup that I have created. Next, I set up this dolly movement for my watch shot. So I use a motorized slider and I preset my focus to the watch at the final frame. This is pretty simple, just that the lighting has to be adjusted a little bit. I'm mainly using a very large source pointing towards the watch to mimic sunlight that's seeping through the window gaps. Next, I position the camera straight up to my face as I do with all my yawning shots. I just put it down on my bed and just point the lens straight up. And for this key shot of me yawning with the probe lens coming out from my mouth, I place the straight probe lens into my mouth, and basically I'm just rocking back and forth as I yawn, so to mimic that the lens is coming out from my mouth. For this lens, there's a very simple locking mechanism where you can unlock it and change the front tip of the lens, and I'm using it on a high angle shot. Typically my tripod can't really go that high, so I'm really balancing on my chair to get the max height I could get. Please do not try this at home. I'm really risking my camera and my lens for this. My main aim here is to get the lens over the ceiling fan. So that's nice, the peri-probe can extend its lens over slightly higher, which gives us this perspective. It's in the morning, I don't want to disturb my neighbors, so I don't want to open the door and shoot from the outside. My main aim is to get the lens as close as possible from the door view so that I can see myself and the toilet all in the same wide shot. On this lens, you can rotate the front portion of the peri-probe, which is very helpful, which I don't really know why it's this for until I use this function to get myself exposed to the door. I could just rest it on the door and the lens will capture everything from there on. Lighting the toilet is pretty easy. I want to keep the color tone cool inside and warm in the living room. So what I have here is I open up my windows in the living room and I lit the toilet in a cooler tone using the MC Pro and the Nanlite, all set at a higher Kelvin, which is about 6000 and up, I believe. So for the tap scene, I used the POV probe to get it inverted and looking straight up towards the tap. For this case, I'm using the protective cover that it comes with just to protect my lens a little, because this is my first few time using it. I wanted to really keep it clean and safe. So after that, we are at the fridge scene. The fridge scene is pretty easy. I'm using the same technique as a door, where I'm flushing the lens towards the back of the fridge. So I rotated the lens in front of me and turn it facing the camera, and I place it this way in. So for that shot, it's pretty easy. I just open and close the fridge door and yeah. The eggs scene was something that I had in mind because those kind of shots we are usually using a plexiglass and putting apple boxes, and with the POV probe lens here, I want to give it a shot. Place the lens on the plate and just ripping two of the eggs, and right from there we got a shot easily without having too much setups. Next, I've just shot some extra shots of the eggs cooking. I used a straight probe into this. I pushed the lens quite close to the egg frying, and the details is really nice and crispy. Usually for this case, you will have the shot that is moving back on the straight probe lens, but what we can do with this POV probe is we can have the slider parallel to the table. In this case, it will mimic a pulling back shot without having to see the front of the slider or the back of the slider. After that shot, I ate my breakfast, which is the eggs, and I have this lying down shot. This shot isn't difficult, it's just that there's a lot of moving parts that I have to get myself in position and get in focus and kind of rehearsing my movement. So that's the main thing that I'm trying here. So I put it on the straight probe, looking straight down at me, and just using my iPad to really monitor my frame and get my shot and focus ready. The table shot is pretty easy. I just changed my tripod into a video fluid head. In this case, I could do panning smoothly and following my movement as I pan together with my hand actions. Pretty easy. It took about like 6 tries to get the timing right. Next up, we have the shoe set. So this shoe shot in the story is where I realized that it's about time that I need to go and run. So I want to have this little compression moment going on, and this case is why X-Tract lenses are so good, because it is a 18mm to 28mm zoom range. So how I did it here was to change my focus motors to the zoom ring. So with this, I could control the zoom of the lens with my wireless focus. As the camera is sliding in, I'm zooming out. The sock shot is basically just the camera lens pointing upwards, and I'm just flinging my socks towards the camera. But the next shot here is kind of the most interesting and challenging one, where I have to mimic my camera lens is my feet. So what I'm doing here is I'm opening up the entrance of the shoe and sliding the camera lens into the shoe seamlessly without having any bumps or shakes. What I've learned is the gear really doesn't make the film. You know, I could use any lens, I could use a small lens. I think it's about how you want to tell the story with the things you have. For this case, I'm limiting myself to just a probe lens, which makes me discover the ability of that lens. And with this challenge, it really proved that gear doesn't really matter. You just have to have the vision and kind of find ways to make your gear work for you. So honestly, if you have a camera, a lens, and an idea, there's nothing much stopping you from creating anything. So my tip is to stop waiting and start creating, even if it means sticking a probe lens into your mouth. If you enjoyed this, drop your craziest probe lens idea in the comments down below. I might just try it in the next post. And if you want to explore Utley's new AI tools in your next project, I'll leave a link down below. And lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep experimenting. See you in the next one. Bye!